What's on, where, and when. It's the Talk of Nelson. Talk Nelson Radio.
Welcome to Football Focus, episode 11, where we cover all things football in the top of the South. I'm Chris Butler. Welcome back to my co-host, Paul Bryden. On this week's show, we talk about senior men's and women's local premiership. We've got Southern League men's and women's, overseas news, the FIFA Women's World Cup, and also the English Premiership as well, and some New Zealand football news, just to add that in. But first, the Nelson Pine Senior Women's Premiership, still going, still some games scheduled to play. If we look at the draw, we've got Hothouse Creative Foxes taking on Get Cars FC Nelson Diamonds at Jubilee Park. So that'll be interesting because although Slotsy's team have advanced more than the table suggests because they beat Wahine last night.
6-1, yeah,
6-1
at Jubilee Park. I think the Wahine need to get at least a draw there for the Diamonds to have any chance of winning that league, but they went down 6-1 to Wahine. It was on the cards. As we said, they'll want to go unbeaten, the Foxes. They're not going to slip up against the young Wahine team, but Sash said they were a different class, one-way traffic, but they look like stuck in there. 6-1's not a huge hiding, 10-1's a hiding.
Yes,
6-1's a beating.
Yes.
2-1's tight. But this was 6-1, so never mind. But big game this week.
Well, it doesn't look as though Diamonds can take them then because that's there'll be 5 points difference, but it'll be a big game because both good sides, and Diamonds will want to end the season on a good note. So that is at Jubilee Park, though, away. So are the Foxes going to go unbeaten?
Well, look, Diamonds have got plenty to play for. Look, they'd like to beat them, to be honest. They won't die wondering. But as I said, the Foxes will want to go unbeaten. You'd have to fancy the Foxes at home. And it's Slotsy's last game. He's heading away to Australia. So for a while. So I imagine they'll be up for this and they'll want to go for unbeaten. And well done. They've created a good culture in that team and got good players. And they've done it again this year. So well done to the Foxes. But I'm picking the Foxes, but it won't be easy.
Spring and Fern Tahuna Breakers taking on the Golden Bay Shield Maidens, and that's at Tahuna Nui.
Yes, Golden Bay, they'll travel over the hill. Last game, Tahuna. I only had a couple of ones this year, so you'd have to pick the Shield Maidens there. We couldn't let Phil down. No. He'll be ringing us, but
finally you've come round, Bridie, and you'll end it on a good note for the end of the season.
Yes. No, I'm picking Golden Bay to win that one, but Tahuna will give it all at home.
Mapua Cougars taking on Nelson Suburbs Reserves.
You'd have to put the reserves there. They'll want to finish the season on a high, I would say, but Mapua won't be easy over there.
And the Swans taking on the Motueka FC or AFC Angels.
Yes, you fancy the Swans there.
So they must have, the Swans won 3-0. So did they have was that defaulted or
No,
they actually played that?
Well, the weather last week was horrendous.
Yes, it was on that Saturday, yes.
If you can remember.
Yes.
Last Saturday, I remember actually Matt Jones had to go to Mott to play golf. And he goes, why are we going to Mott to play golf in this weather? And, of course, no one rang him, so they drove over there, got their clubs out, and it just came in. It was cold. It was blowing. They did about 2 or 3 holes, and then the hooter went. Waste of time. So,
yeah.
And our under-17s went to Mott. Well, they called that off early in the second half, TJ said. It was just the conditions were just abysmal. Yeah. It was, I think the FC were winning 5-1 or something. So, and so I actually went down to Neil Park and Guppy Park to watch that. And I got there. I was going to take the dog for it, but it was just too wet for the dog.
Yes.
But I went down and the time I got down there, both games were over. So, Swans too good for the Wahine 3-0 and the Diamonds beat Mapua 5-4. So that was an exciting game. They actually played at Guppy Park, and but the conditions were just horrendous.
So you'd have to pick the Swans over Motueka?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. So the top 3, the Foxes, they'll see whether they go unbeaten for the season, and then followed not too far away by the Diamonds, and then the women's reserves coming into 3. So those 3 will advanced of the others. So the women's reserves will be fairly happy with that result. Young side, I'm sure.
Exactly.
The Southern League women, the cup games for the senior men are actually next week. So we'll talk about the cups up for grabs in Golden Bay next week. So, but the Southern League women, we've got Otago University taking on Nelson Suburbs. Nelson Suburbs getting a bit of a pasting against Coastal Spirit.
Yes, not a great result, that, is it? 8-0. Could have been injuries. I haven't heard much what's going on. Haven't spoken to Geezer about it. So, yeah, look, it's becoming a bit tough for them. Dragging on a wee bit because remember they've played this league and then they had the other league to qualify for this league. So they've had a lot of football. And, it's just coming a wee bit undone for them. Actually, we were going to have Anna McPhee on the program today, but unfortunately she was busy with work. So she got to give us this, an update on that. But, no, they won't be happy. But it is what it is, That's the way it goes.
And it carries on because they take on Otago University in Otago.
That's a big day, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a lot of travelling.
Long way down.
I imagine they'll be flying. Well, it looks like their last game, so they want to finish on a high.
Yeah.
Go down there, set up, and try and get something out of it.
Here's a big game. Cashmere Technical taking on Coastal Spirit.
Well, it doesn't look like it's Tech are that far in front, aren't they? They're on 25. They've only drawn one game.
They beat Canterbury 6-1. Canterbury University.
Yeah, no, you'd have to fancy Cashmere Tech there, Chris.
And then Canterbury, or Universities of Canterbury, taking on Dunedin City Royals. So
you probably fancy the Royals there.
Yeah, because they're third on the table. So Cashmere Tech well ahead, followed by Coastal Spirit, even for second position with Dunedin City Royals, although Coastal Spirit have a game in hand. So that'll be interesting, but nothing up for grabs there because they don't go on to National League. Unlike the Southern men, which we'll talk about now, and the Nomads taking on Suburbs, that's at, is it Tulette Park in
Tullett Park
in
you always get
Christchurch.
You always get that. It's like you say it's a tulip, but it's actually Tullett.
It's just a Tullett
Park, Nomads United. Yeah, well, that's right. It's a grass pitch. It's out sort of near the airport, but big pitch. You'd have to fancy Suburbs here. They can't. I don't think they can finish. They could probably go up another spot in the table. So with Ferrymead away at Tech, Suburbs could go above Ferrymead. So they got plenty to play for.
Yeah,
because if they get the win and Ferrymead lose, they'll go up to 5th place in the table. So Suburbs didn't have a game last week due to the Chatham Cup. So look, they want to finish. They want to finish their last away game. So they want to go down there and try and get a result. I'd say I'd fancy Suburbs to win this.
Cashmere Technical taking on Ferrymead Bays.
Well, yeah, I just think Tech, Christchurch United, both those sides are a class above any other team in the league. I actually watched Ferrymead play Suburbs here a few weeks ago. My nephew plays for them. I was a bit disappointed with Ferrymead. Suburbs actually beat them 2-1. Probably deservedly so. Ferrymead didn't really offer a lot on attack. And I just think Cashmere Tech, watching them play this year, class above Ferrymead, they should win this quite easily. And it's at home at Garrick Park, which is, once again, a massive pitch. And we used to call it the second airport when I was coaching down there, because you get that big, you could land a plane on it. Yeah.
All right, Coastal Spirit taking on Selwyn United.
You'd have to fancy Coastal Spirit there. Selwyn United, I think the bottom team gets relegated, so look, they'll be desperate. They'll probably want to get a point, but you'd think Coastal Spirit will want to hang on to that third place.
Green Island taking on Christchurch United. That is in Dunedin.
Well, Christchurch United, what a season they're having. They're unbeaten in the league. They've gone through to the Chatham Cup final. They ain't going to drop points here.
No.
They're going to win that, not comfortably, but because Green Island have done all right this year, but you can't see United losing that game. So,
and then quick turnaround for Christchurch United, because it must be a catch-up game against FC 20 on the 29th.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, FC 20, they've got to play United here. I can't see them winning that. They'll probably get relegated. This will be doomsday for them. Losing, they're gone, and then they've got to travel here to play Suburbs' last game next week.
Right.
So Christchurch United all the way there, my son.
And the top two go through, and that's Christchurch United and Cashmere Technical, fairly well established now. There's no way Coastal Spirit can catch Cashmere, so they're the National League teams going through.
Well, that's right.
Summer.
So they have the top 4 from the Northern Region, top 4 from the Central League, and top 2 from the South Island League. I'd like to see that increase to 12 teams. That gives another opportunity from a South Island side to get in there. Because the current setup's only 10 teams. They only play one round. They only play up to Christmas. So I think, so you only get 9 games.
So you're not even playing after Christmas?
No. Well, they didn't last year.
Yeah.
They only play the one round. That's what I've heard. And so I'd like to see the league increase to 12. And then we could have 3 teams from the South Island League.
Yeah.
Which then becomes a chance for suburbs to make that cut, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Overseas news, we've got Nottingham Forest have signed World Cup winning defender Gonzalo Montiel on a season-long loan from Sevilla, with an option to make the move permanent, and he was in the World Cup winning squad for Argentina. And Bernardo Silva, the midfielder, signs a 1-year contract extension for Man City.
Yeah, well, I know Barcelona were chasing him, but obviously they've got their man to keep him there. Great little player, this fella. You know, you look at him play; he's all left foot, and of course, the left footers stand out a lot more than the right footers, and because I get told that, you're all left foot, Bridie. It's only because there's not many left footers around, so you stand out. But he's a great little player. Yeah. And Manchester City will be glad to hang on to him. And I just see Pep Guardiola's under the knife this week.
He is, yeah.
He's in hospital, something back surgery or something. Yeah. In Barcelona, he's getting it done. So obviously doesn't trust the doctors in Manchester. I'll go down to Barcelona and get it done. Yeah.
Ollie Watkins gets a hat trick for Aston Villa when they took on Hibernian, that's the one.
Scottish side.
For the Europa Conference, 5-0.
Yeah, well, he's a good player, Ollie Watkins. I'm not sure if he's played for England, but he can't be too far away. He's a number 9, works very, very hard, gets in the box. He sort of works well with his midfielders. I like the look of him. He's a very good player. I like the look of Villa actually at the moment.
Well, that's what they're saying. It marks the return of them into European football. So, good win there. English Premiership, and let's look at the third round draw, and then there'll be a couple we can talk about, I'm sure. Chelsea taking on Luton Town, Bournemouth taking on Tottenham, Brentford taking on Crystal Palace, Arsenal taking on Fulham, Man U taking on Nottingham Forest, Everton taking on Wolves, Brighton taking on West Ham, Sheffield United taking on Man City. Doesn't get any easier for them. Burnley taking on Aston Villa, and probably the match of the round, Newcastle and Liverpool. So what were your thoughts on the last round?
Well, I see the old Luton-Burnley game got postponed. And a lot of people ask me, why was it postponed? Well, the reason it was postponed was the ground wasn't up to scratch. They had to build an extra grandstand to cover the TV rights because the grandstand's not high enough or something.
Wow. How's that?
So that's why that game was postponed. Their ground is really, really small. It's Kenilworth Road. I don't know if
no, I haven't.
No, you wouldn't have been there. No, but I watched it years and years ago. It's a real small ground. It's sort of not unlike Trafalgar Park in a way, except it's fully enclosed. But their grandstand's not big enough for the TV, so they're building it at the moment. So apparently it's supposed to be right.
So it wasn't ready in time. So that obviously
basically it's not ready in time,
right?
So, which is quite strange because it only holds 10,000, but Bournemouth have got the same. But Bournemouth only holds 10,000, but they might increase theirs because they've been in the Premier League now, back in again for the last couple of years. So. The Dean Court, the Vitality Stadium, because I've been there. I had a season at Bournemouth. Not a big ground as well, but they seem to get away with it. But interesting. Look, big ground. Newcastle, Liverpool, obviously, that's going to be a tough game for Liverpool. Newcastle at home, always tough to beat.
Yeah.
You know, the northeast up there and massive crowds. That's a great stadium, St James Park. And you'd have to fancy Newcastle here, but Liverpool's had a good start. But other games, it looks pretty cut and dry. To be fair, I'm actually interested to see how Tottenham get on.
Yeah, Had a great win against Man U 2-0.
Yeah, and Big Ange, the big Australian there.
Yeah.
And he's known for his attacking football. And I was actually telling the lads at training the other day, he really does. If you watch them bomb forward, they all bomb forward together apart from the two centre halves, where Conte, on the other hand, was very defensive orientated and got teams on the breaks, but he'd get everyone behind the ball. But Big Ange, he's got some young kids in there. I thought the two lads in midfield, Sarr and Basuma, were really outstanding. But in saying that, Man United, Fernandes, I don't know if you've seen it, had this header after in the first half, and really he should have put that away.
Yes, I think I did see that in the highlights. Yeah,
that would have would have been 1-0. Changes the whole game, and missing that, and then they hit the post a couple of times, so they were unlucky. I thought United played well. I thought it was a cracking game, but well done to Tottenham.
Yeah, well, that's right, and it just goes to show that without Harry and the ups and downs of the last season, watch out, because Tottenham have started well and they are playing some good football. So we'll see what happens there. Aston Villa 4-0 over Everton, so they bounced back strongly, and they're looking good. And then got that good result in the Euros as well. Man City did it fairly comfortably against Newcastle, 1-0, and Newcastle didn't have that fervour they did in the first game, or maybe Man City just didn't allow them.
Well, they don't. They sort of shut you down very, very quickly. They keep the ball off you. They retain possession very, very good. That's part of their plan. Look, Man City, just the size of their squad. They're well organised. They got everything to play for. They want to. They win. That's what it's all about with Guardiola. It's all about winning. And so, look, poor old Sheffield United.
Yeah,
they're at home, and anything can happen. But you can't see that's got 2 or 3-0 written all over it. To be honest. The other team that surprised me last week was West Ham, didn't they?
Yes, that's right. Yeah, great win against Chelsea.
Especially when they lost the man. They would play the last 20 with 10. And it just, the stadium they play at West Ham, it looks quite small, but Chelsea had all the ball. West Ham kept it really, really narrow. And they got to the byline quite a few times, but they kept on chipping it in. Well, the big boys at the West Ham just cleaned it up. They need to be drilling the ball in low and getting the runners coming near post. So I just thought Chelsea a wee bit clueless, to be honest. Good side on paper, but then same old thing. 2 games, haven't won a game yet.
No, that's right.
Because they drew with Liverpool last week at home.
Yeah, that's right. And they were coming into the season, in reasonable form. So, but after the struggle last season for West Ham, they'll be pleased with that. That was a great result.
Tremendous result.
Yeah.
Good for the league.
Fulham's going down.
Oh,
they were terrible.
How'd they get on, son? Oh,
3-0.
Yeah. Well, they got a red card earlier on, but they didn't look flash. Marco Silva, they had a great year last season, didn't they? Who you got this week? You're at Arsenal. You might struggle to get something out of that, son.
I don't know. I mean, is it that Mitrovic, had such an influence? Certainly could put the ball in the back of the net, but the side itself was playing well overall, and
consistency.
And they did have that. And I thought a middle of the table is where they were, but I mean, they were really lucky against Everton. Everton were all over them, and they just pinched a 1-0 win, and then they just got hammered by Brentford. If things don't change, they're gone.
Yeah.
I'm making that call already.
Oh, come on, Butts, have some faith.
Well,
I support Leeds. We're in the championship. We haven't had a win yet.
Right. Oh dear.
Well, it's just hopeless. He's got players there. They've loaned all these players out so they don't have to pay wages. There's players that think they want to play Premier League, so they don't want to. They're not committed to training. So the manager's gone, well, you can go down the other end of the training pitch and train on your own. Well, I wouldn't be paying them.
No, yeah, right.
If you don't want to play, either leave or you're not getting paid. Now, I see young Gonto, the young Italian boy, he's pulled his head in this week. He's back training for the squad. But, who'd want to be a manager, mate, at this level? Honestly, what a headache. You want to be paid really, really well for all this stuff you've got to put up with.
Well, they are.
Yeah, they are.
And often they're only in the job for 4 months. So
well, those teams, those middle of the table, bottom of the table teams, like Forrest, guys like that Stevie Cooby company, he brought Forrest up. Well, he's safe. He's got nothing to lose.
Oh, now that was the other one. Chris Wood got the winner.
Yeah.
2-1 against Sheffield United. So
I didn't even know he was fit again because he's always injured. But
yeah, and he had a real off season. Newcastle didn't seem to want to keep him on, and he went on loan. He didn't do great things at Nottingham Forest. Then he got injured,
pulled his hamstring.
And to be honest, I thought, well, maybe that's the last we'll see of him. But
yeah, well, he's in his mid to late 30s, isn't he? He's mid 30s now. So, but yeah, look, so pleased for the kid to come on. And it was a great goal.
Yeah, it was.
He's the sort of player. Just get the ball in the box because he'll get on the end of it, makes good runs. He's quite good in the air, and it was a great header. So yeah, well pleased for him, and he got the points for Forest.
Yeah, he did. That was fantastic. Everton, 2 losses. I mean, they played well against Fulham. They should have won that game. That was at home. They didn't get the win. Now they've gone down 4-0 to Aston Villa. The headlines are starting already in the UK. Yeah, because I thought actually they
haven't signed anyone's son.
No, but I actually thought they played really well against Fulham. They, at home they can be a tough side, but they just don't seem to be able to find the back of the net.
Oh, Villa tore them to pieces.
Yeah,
just a better side, mate. And that's just the way it is. Everton hasn't. They what Sean Dyche says. He said if I had 10 subs, I would have subbed a whole lot of them at half time. Right. He wasn't very, very happy, but they were one of the clubs trying to get Gonto from Leeds. They were looking at Tyler Adams from Leeds. Tyler Adams is signed for Bournemouth, the American lad. They haven't bolstered their squad, and you just get if you've got to keep improving.
Yeah,
but of course they're building a new stadium, so probably all their money's going into that. I don't know. Doesn't look good for them. Last 2 years they've struggled, and it looks like they're going to struggle again.
Yeah. All right, New Zealand football news. The men's under-17 team will continue to build up to the November FIFA under-17 World Cup in Indonesia, and they've got some warm-up games in Japan. Wow,
what a trip.
Yeah, that's right. That'll be a pretty good trip, and they're taking on a Niigata regional team on the 14th of September. Then they take on the Japanese under-17 team, 16th of September. That won't be easy. But then they take on Venezuela.
Wow.
On the 18th of September. Oh. So they'll be certainly having to take on some football flair there.
Well, just, that's good. That's great.
Yeah.
Just talking about tournaments, I was just talking to Neil Connell yesterday, him and Skippy Stewart.
Oh, yes.
They're in Auckland with the Samoan under-23 team in preparation for the Olympics, I believe. So they're in charge of that team. So they're having a week together this week, and they play their first game on Monday at the Trust Arena in out West Auckland. They play Tonga. So, and obviously in their group, they've got to play Solomon Islands and Vanuatu.
Wow.
And the other group's New Zealand, PNG, and Fiji.
Right.
So I think they've got to make the top 2 to get in the semi. So that's a great trip for those boys. I don't know how they must have been through Paul Eiffel. He's got them in there, and Skippy applied for the job and got it, and brought his co-coach in, Neil Connell. So they've been a whale of a time in Auckland. Nice hotels and all paid for by FIFA, and coaching, and apparently from all accounts, quite a tidy side.
Yeah, right.
Neil said a great bunch of lads, and they can actually most of them, all of them are quite decent. So good on them.
Yeah, great local coaches getting that kind of gig, and good on you, Skippy, for, I know he's done quite a few of the qualification certificates, and he's obviously pushing to aspire to greater heights, and great to have the ability to push yourself and apply for the job, and there you go.
Yeah.
So fantastic news. That's great. Chatham Cup and Christchurch United do it over Eastern Suburbs 2-1. Melville United beat Waterside Karori 3-1. So we've got a Southline representative in the Chatham Cup final.
Do you know where Melville's from, Chris?
No, I don't actually.
Hamilton.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I just thought you'd tell you that. Yeah.
I thought you were going to say they're a South Island club, but I didn't think they were. I thought they were an Auckland club, actually.
No, they've been around for years, actually. You've got Hamilton Wanderers up, then you've got Melville United. They're the 2 big clubs in Hamilton. And Melville, beat Waterside Karori last weekend 3-1. Yeah. In the Chatham Cup semi-final, so they'll play Christchurch United. I don't know where that game will be played. It's no Auckland teams in it, which is
so. Do they usually play it on a neutral ground in the final?
Well, it's normally played at North Harbour Stadium or something like that. It'll be interesting. But what great news for Christchurch United! What a season they have. We talked about that before with Paul Eiffel in charge there, and Matt Todd Smith is playing there, local boy. So well done to them. They must fancy their chances there.
Yeah.
I watched the highlights of both those games, and obviously well deserved. Eastern Sabres is a great result because they're a big club.
Yeah, they are.
Big club. So no Auckland teams in the final, but
How's that?
amazing.
A step forward. So that's on the 10th of September, 4 p.m. kickoff. The FIFA Women's World Cup, and Spain did it 1-0 over England. Olga Carmona. What a beautiful goal that was. That was a great finish. And really pleased for them because I felt that Spain have been playing some beautiful football throughout the tournament. Although I didn't pick them for the final, I thought England's experience and the fact that they were, I thought in the semi, starting to show what England was about. They're a good team. They're a solid team. They're experienced. They're experienced in finals football. The couple of girls up front, know how to get the ball in the back of the net. But Spain shut them out. But not only that, but outplayed them in those tight spaces. There was some brilliant football in those tight spaces.
Yeah, well, once the tournament started and I saw Spain the first time they played in Wellington, they had something about them. Typical Spanish style, 1 and 2 touch. And then they lost to Japan.
Yeah.
4-0. Yeah. But like Argentina in the Men's World Cup this year, lost to Saudi Arabia. Went on to win the tournament. Spain did the same. Oh, look, to be honest, I thought Spain were the better side. They've got tremendous athletes. Carmona is actually, I think she's, while she plays football, great football player, she's also a 400-meter runner.
Oh, right.
She can go. I just thought in midfield, they just tactically, individually and collectively were the better side.
Yeah.
And considering the ramifications and the drama they had before the tournament with the coach not selecting, because you got to remember, there was 2 or 3 players that could have been there. They didn't want to play for this coach. And so the Spanish Football Association stuck by the coach. He took this team and to go on and win it, huge achievement, to be honest. Well done. And then, of course, you got the aftermath with the hugs and the kisses and stuff like that. Look, end of the day, wasn't a good look, but end of the day, look, they're the world champs.
They are. They are.
And what a fantastic tournament.
It was. It was a fantastic tournament. And the final was great. I mean, it wasn't measured like some of the finals can be where everyone keeps it at the back and you wonder if you'll ever see a game again that finishes in 90 minutes.
Well, that's right.
But these 2 teams went for it and they had their chances. But I just thought the football that Spain played, especially when they got into tight corners, just the one-touch football and the way they played themselves out of situations was just magnificent.
Very busy side.
Yeah.
They lovely football. And Sweden got 3rd place. They beat Australia 2-0.
Yeah.
That was thoroughly deserved. And I see they're talking about making a statue of the Australian team. I'm not too sure if they deserve that. They go, Shane Warne's got one outside the MCG, but Shane Warne was one of the greatest cricketers ever.
Yeah. And
you do a statue if they won the tournament. You do something like that, but
the thing is,
great achievement for the Australian girls, though.
I think what they said is England won. Yeah, the last World Cup, England got 4th, so Australia got 4th, and surely that's a legacy to build on. You now know that you can perform against those top sides, and you've got every opportunity to go further with it. So. I think there's still more to come from Australia yet. So,
well, a lot of these players play in Europe and the English league, so they're only going to get better. And,
it was a great tournament. I think much higher than everyone expected. And congratulations to Spain. I was thoroughly pleased for them. I just thought they played fantastic football, and that goal, that was just magnificent.
Great goal.
All right, Bridie. Well, that seems to cover it. What's news on FC Nelson? Because you guys are in a position now to play in the playoffs for the mainland league. So movement in that direction.
Yes. Well, it looks like the club had a meeting Monday night and they've decided that we'll have a go. Where we get the money from, I don't know. Right. That rhymes. So we've got to keep training. It's not easy.
Yes.
And the other thing too, we turned up Tuesday down at Guppy Park and the council's dug up our ground. They've aerated it, but that's supposed to settle down after about 3 days, but it's not ideal. So we had to train on the turf Tuesday night. But the dates are the 9th and the 16th of September. against Universities of Canterbury.
Oh,
And if we manage to get over that, we've got to play Mosgiel the 23rd and the 30th.
so is that a home and away scenario?
Yeah.
Right. Yep.
So we have to travel across. So the draw for that, to tell us if we're home and away, who's home first, is supposed to be done Friday. So they should know by the weekend. So yeah, we're back in training into it, sort of thing. I've been talking to some karate players. So we had a knock around Tuesday night. So we'll just ease back into it. Hopefully I'm trying to organise a game against Suburbs Mainland for next Tuesday. Get all the players there, and then hopefully against the Tasman the 17th a week after, and then we'll go from there. But
do you know much about the Universities of Canterbury side?
No. I've seen some highlights on YouTube because they get their films filmed down there. So TJ managed to get a copy of a couple of the games. Look, they're not going to be easy.
No.
They're a Nomads, Green Island, probably FC20, Selwyn.
Mm-hmm.
Probably they're at that level. Would they beat Suburbs? Possibly not. Would they beat us? Well, they probably should. But you don't know. It's how we prepare, and as long as we get everyone fit and healthy, I've got everyone to pick from. We've got a few distractions with the college boys away at tournament next week, so they're not here. And then we've got, after that, I think the Tasman under 17s going to a league. We've got 5 players from FC in that, but we still should be able to use those players. So look, we've got a bit of planning to do, but look, we'll get there. We have the weekend off. We'll just keep training and ease our way into it. It's still 2 weeks away, so we'll just see what happens.
Yeah.
If we win, we win. If we don't, we don't. But you got to have a go.
Got to give it a crack.
Oh, it's a great opportunity for players at our club. Guys like Chris Main and Jermaine Wilson-Duggan and TJ and Isaac Cunningham, who haven't played a lot of that top-level football. Guys like Billy Scott have played a lot of Central League. LeBou's played National League. But a lot of them haven't, and some young kids, it's a great opportunity to play a high level, and it'd be good for town. There's another big game of football here.
Yeah.
You know, you got FC20 Suburbs next week, and then week after that, there's us playing University. So something to watch. That's what it's all about, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know.
Awesome. All right. Wish you all the best of luck in that preparation.
No worries.
Thank you very much for coming in once again. Thank you to our listeners. Keep the comments coming, and we'll talk to you again next week.
Talk Nelson Radio. It's the Talk of Nelson.